Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. Allincrypto here, and today we are going to be delivering another jam-packed daily cryptocurrency market update, and we are going to be starting things off with a warning from BlackRock CEO Larry Fink in regards to a snowballing debt hitting the US economy. Now, this is actually, I believe, going to be very bullish for the crypto space and the broader risk sector. It's going to be bearish for the dollar and the kind of anti-risk sector, and is going to be the driver of the global liquidity cycle that is going to allow the cryptocurrency space to do rather well. And we have been very early on this by looking at the 20-year plus treasury market in the form of the TLT, which we are now bullish on. And the only derivative that we have came up, or the only answer we have came up in regards to why we are bullish on this, is the fact that the Fed is going to have to step back into the bond market. They already gave a sign of that last Wednesday when Jerome Powell spoke about tapering QT. And their form of QT hasn't been getting bonds off the balance sheet, just letting them run out and get outdated and not renewing them. They are going to have to step back in a big way. This is going to be broader liquidity for the markets. And crypto is going to be the fastest horse in that race. So we're going to be starting the video off there. We're going to be looking at the TOTAL2, which is still a chart that I see nobody giving technical analysis on or having any kind of targets for. We now have targets. We spoke about that right shoulder forming. That's going to see the total cryptocurrency market, excluding Bitcoin, get to around about $3.7 trillion, which aligns with our macro view. We really try and deliver this kind of 360 analysis here on All In Crypto. Just a quick word on the Patreon, guys. We are now sold out. We will be opening that, I believe, up next week to a few members. So do stay tuned. Join the free kind of Patreon thing and just stay up to date in regards to when we open up more spaces. We're growing at a rapid rate. The demand has been insane. And I think that is kind of a barometer of where the cryptocurrency space is at broadly. Let's dive into the warning from the man himself, Larry Fink. BlackRock CEO warns of snowballing debt hitting the US economy. Now, why on earth would this be bullish? Well, because if you understand the fiat systems, they are just debt-based systems. So when they devalue or proliferate the debt, that in turn is a kind of proliferation of the dollar itself. And that is liquidity that is likely going to flow into the broader markets. We are one of the only people that are actually talking about this and addressing it. If we look at what's happening with debt, we know that last week, I think it was Thursday, after passing a bill, they upped the debt by $1.2 trillion. That's not included or including the roughly $1 trillion worth of debt that gets added every 100 days. So there's a snowballing of debt. And at this point, we are saying, okay, we're bullish on bonds. Now, what the hell is up with that? All in crypto, have you lost your mind? We haven't been in the buy bonds where diamonds camp. You know, that's all your kind of macro LARPings that really just don't have a clue about anything. And you've got to question, do they make any money actually in the markets, or do they make money by telling you that they think they make money in the markets? Anyway, a little bit of a side note there, but we are bullish on this. So this is the 20-year plus dated treasuries that we're bullish on. Now, this going up means broader liquidity for the overall space. And the question is, well, who is going to buy the debt? We've been asking this question, and my answer is the Federal Reserve. We also know that the global liquidity cycle largely supports our theory on all of this. And that is going to see this pattern that we are now identifying. Remember, we were looking at the fact that it was pretty textbook from a technical analysis point of view that you sold off here. We think this is going to form a broader neckline in an inverse head and shoulders that is going to give the TOTAL2, so everything in the cryptocurrency market, excluding Bitcoin, a $3.7 trillion price tag. And we have lots of altcoins that are doing spectacular. ICP was one of the ones that we were looking at breaking out. It's now done that. And is still moving on to high ground, and then might set up a broader pattern. We've got lots of altcoins out there, things like HBAR, things like Link is one that I'm watching today. This is technical analysis perfection in regards to what we're watching and identifying. But this is the chart probably of the most significance to me, because we haven't really seen anybody covering it. Most of your altcoins are just down here, and they've got this to come, and then they'll likely set up broader patterns just like this did. You broke out your stage 1 base down here into a stage 2, which is an uptrend, and we now have a pattern that's going to see continuation in that uptrend. Remember, the entire cryptocurrency market only got to $3 trillion in the last bull market. So this is going to be a far larger bull market. I do believe we are going to see ETFs and institutional adoption play a role in all of that. So we've kind of, in under 5 minutes, covered a great macro take on the markets more broadly, and also how that relates to crypto being the fastest horse in this proliferation game. The great game, we spoke about Allincrypto being Morpheus. I'm not offering you a red or a blue pill. I'm offering you the opportunity to buy assets over holding a dying fiat system that they continue to proliferate to level off the masses. Most people are or blissfully unaware, I would say, of the great game that's going on. But they're wondering, why are they getting poorer? Well, it's because it's by design. They want to level everybody off to a serfdom class. Their idea of liquidity, and use your imagination when I'm talking about I'm talking about the same people that have been behind the Federal Reserve, that caused the panics, that caused the boom and busts, that benefit from it. Their idea of liquidity, sorry, not liquidity. We know what liquidity is. Their idea of equality, everyone talks about equality and how we should all be equal and we should strive towards this. Well, you can't strive towards equality before you respect an individual's liberty beforehand and their rights and their sovereignty. You have to put that first, and then you end up with the best version of equality that you can possibly come up with. You can't do it the other way around. Otherwise, you'll end up with neither. Big fan of the Austrian economists. Big fan of people like actually Milton Friedman, who I know is a very polarizing character because of what he says, and it plays on people's heartstrings. But they want to level everybody off, and they're doing that through the proliferation of the fiat systems and a lack of financial education, which is what we teach here. We just believe that crypto is the fastest horse in regards to escaping that matrix. So to move on, that's crypto really broadly covered. Lots of altcoins. We cover them every evening, or we cover some every evening. We're going to continue to do so. I want to talk to you about some really interesting news that's currently taking place. Now, there is the SEC Ripple saga, Ripple, Brad and Chris saga. And the SEC have lost. I've never seen the SEC get their behinds handed to them as much as I have in crypto. Something stinks. The FTX stinks. Gary Gensler going from teaching at one of the most prestigious universities in the world when it comes to technology, a blockchain course, to now being head of the SEC. Something stinks here. But recently, the SEC has planned to ask Judge for a $2 billion fine and penalties from Ripple Labs. And now this is after they basically lost, and XRP was deemed a non-security. So what are they going for here? So let's read, and let's actually look at Stuart Aldultry's, who is the, I think, chief legal officer over at Ripple's response to all this. So the filing, which Ripple Chief Legal Officer Stuart Aldultry said will be made public on Tuesday, which is today, continues the company's year-long case, so it's a years-long case against the SEC. The Security and Exchange Commission has requested a New York judge impose $2 billion in fines and penalties on Ripple Labs Incorporated, according to the company's chief legal officer. The filing, with Ripple's chief legal officer Stuart Aldultry said will be made public on Tuesday, are part of the continuing saga of the years-long case with the SEC. Our response will be filed next month, but as we all have seen time and time again, this is a regulator that trades in statements that are false, mischaracterized, and designed to mislead. Aldultry posted on X on Monday. We'll go and look at that in just a second. They stayed true to form here rather than faithfully applying the law. The SEC remains bent on wanting to punish the intermediates, Ripple. Punish and intimidate Ripple and the industry at large. Ripple CEO also took to X to chastise the regulator, citing recent court decisions that ruled the SEC in favor of crypto companies. It sued. Gensler's SEC has reportedly acted outside the law, not going unnoticed by judges, admonishing the agency for the gross abuse of power entrusted in it by Congress. Of course, talking about debt box here, we covered that. And for acting without faithful allegiances to the law. Ripple case, yep, that was cited. Let's not forget Gensler's lack of attention to SBF fraud. And Solana is chosen, and I think Solana's chosen because they are the ones holding the lion's share. You know, his special interest buddies are the ones holding the lion's share, and that's why there's going to be the first ETF around it. Of course, this is from Stuart Aldultry's Twitter himself. As you will see, the SEC's brief is made public tomorrow. He talks about a number of things. Our responsibilities will be filed, or response will be filed next month. It's going to be very interesting to see how this all plays out. Now, why do we care, even if you're not an XRP holder or a Ripple fan? Because it has broader applications or broader cause on the market. Okay, so I think Gensler's just stalling, basically. They don't want the masses to make money on something. They want to shake people out. They don't want people interested in it before they literally turn that tap on, just like we've seen with the Bitcoin ETFs. That is coming. Talking about Bitcoin, if we look at where it's at, So let's move away from our TOTAL2 chart. Again, nobody's really doing analysis on this, and look at the chart, the Bitcoin chart. It's doing the same thing it did last high, and you can see that resembled here. This is going to push above and beyond. Remember, we still have that target for 150K, which lines in with global liquidity and everything else that we have looked at. So that is all I've got for you in what was a delightful daily market update to be delivering. I'm wishing you all the best time in regards to crypto. You know, now is the time. Do stay up to date on these daily market updates. Do follow the channel, become a subscriber if you're not already. We are giving lots of altcoins that are doing well. And of course, I will be opening my Patreon back up so you can get some of those real small gems. You know, we've got coins in the tens of millions in terms of market cap that are in the right sectors that are going to do really well and really provide that life-changing opportunity along with a broader space. That's all I've got for you guys. If you've enjoyed the content, like, appreciate it as a comment, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching. Have a fantastic Tuesday.